far into the night. I raise my hand.
Hey, what is up guys? Right off the bat, let's get this out of the way. People have been saying that the tank's overpowered, or that players don't know how to use the assault class, and stuff like that, and neither one of those is true. I just want to clear that up right now, with, you know, logic. You can see here I'm going to attack this tank. Huge tank, full health, 3 grenades, and I do about 80% damage to this tank, by myself. Which means if anyone throws a light anti-tank grenade at it, or if I were to shoot it with this gun right here that I'm about to use, which actually ends up hitting an invisible wall, unfortunately, the tank would blow up and it'd be toast. Now I know there was only one guy in that tank, and people are going to complain and say, well, if there were 3 in that tank, he would have been dead. Yeah, but if there were 6 people on my team there, even if I was the only assault class one, that tank could have gone out very easily as long as I hit it with a couple of those grenades. And you can see here, you can also use dynamite from behind cover when the tanks try to push C and whatnot, and pretty easy. Tank's toast, can't even see me, can't even shoot me. Not a big deal to get rid of those tanks with the assault class. The issue that occurred in the beta that made tanks feel overpowered was simply that nobody used the assault class. That's it. That's the entirety of that problem. The assault class was just not commonly used, and that's because of the map. The map was a big open map with huge open areas and a lot of alleyways and valleys and stuff that were kind of long range based, and the assault class is limited in particular by its short range. And so people would try to use the assault class, they try to spawn with it at, you know, at D or B or F, whatever the case is, or A, and they'd get picked off at range. And so I think a lot of people just went, well, this kind of sucks, this class is useless, so I'm not going to use it. And I was determined to kind of get good with this class and to see if I could really make it effective in the game. And I was very successful with this, simply because I got used to the range, I kind of learned how to engage people with this thing. I only really used it at C and at B, to be honest, because people are right. The class was underpowered at the other places in the map, and so whenever you saw a tank at D, that thing would just chill for like the whole game, because it was so hard for anyone in the assault class to push up on D without just getting picked off by players or even the tank itself at range, where the assault class really couldn't really get in on it. So just to address that, that does kind of seem like the tanks may be overpowered at D, and I'll agree that in some ways that is true, but when you have planes and other things and the tank itself is forced to be out in the open, I don't think that's the case, because if I got into a plane rather than on the assault class, I found it very, very easy to just take the tanks out when they were at D. But I usually ended up doing it myself, because most people enjoy dogfighting and whatnot, just to, you know, have fun with the beta. But I think when the full game's out, people are going to be less focused on just trying to experiment with everything and more focused on really playing the game itself and whatnot. And so I think some of that stuff will balance itself out. I do agree the light tank's overpowered, and I'm glad DICE has addressed that, and they're going to fix that and nerf it. If they nerf it significantly enough, you can maybe even have 2 light tanks for every heavy tank, and that would simply be because you don't want 3 people on a team taking all 3 tanks, and then taking the light tank, and then you have this light tank which can't compete with the heavy tanks, as it shouldn't be able to because it's a light tank, showing up. And so I'm not sure how they're going to balance that out, but I just wanted to point out that the assault class is fine. It's not that people don't know how to use it. I think the assumption that people didn't know how to use the assault class was just a really condescending and stupid thing to say. I know a lot of YouTubers were saying that people don't know how to use the assault class. People like Level Cap and stuff were saying that might be a possibility. I found that a little hypocritical, because basically all of his content is him running the medic and sniper class, and also the blatantly overpowered horseman class. I don't even know why anyone posts videos of going on a killing spree with the horseman class up on YouTube. I don't think that's something to be proud of. I certainly don't think it's something that is unique to them. I think anybody who decides to use the horse class, if they wanted to, could go on a very easy killing spree. You just use the pistol at close range, you use the rifle at long range, and if you get shot, you go away and you heal. So I found that to be kind of dull. So you won't see that kind of content on this channel anytime soon. Now back to the assault class. Let's see here, I take out yet another tank fairly easily with a class that I actually picked this class up off of a dead guy. I didn't even spawn with it because that tank was there. But the assault class was really effective specifically at C and B, like I was saying. And the way to use this, and that's what this video is mainly going to be about, is just how to engage with the assault class. If you're engaging a tank, what do you want to do? If you're engaging players, what do you want to do? If you want to move positions on the map, what do you want to do? Because people, I feel like they didn't really know that, and they weren't willing to die repeatedly to figure it out. So let's get into that. When you're engaging players with this class, the main key to taking out lots of players and amassing a ton of kills and clearing out bases, essentially, which is what this class, by the way, is designed for. The assault class is for clearing out bases. It's not for pushing them. It's not particularly for holding them or defending them. It's for clearing them out once your squad gets there. So if you can spawn in on an objective, that's when you want to spawn as the assault class. You don't want to spawn somewhere far away and then try to run there. You're just going to get shot at range and you're going to feel like you're going to get kind of annoyed by it. So when engaging players, basically what you want to do is if you see a player, cut off their angle on you if they're too far away for you to shoot them. The range on these, on the submachine gun and the shotgun, is really short. So if you see someone who's outside of your range, odds are they're not going to be assault class 2. So just cut off their angles on you. Don't let them see you. If they, well, I should correct that. Let them see you, but don't let them kill you. Immediately run away. I don't want to say hide, but just cut off their view and start moving around the map. Take advantage of the mobility that Battlefield 1 has incorporated. The new movement system gives an edge to the assault class far more than any other class. Clearly, because of this mobility, you can run up on people, you can gank people in buildings and stuff like that without them knowing that where you're coming from. And you can also use it to get away and then juke people out and kind of circle around and re-engage in close quarters. And that's what this class is the best at. Disengaging when you're outside of range and re-engaging up close. That's how you want to beat people with this class. In close quarters, people can't touch you basically. As long as you can shoot, you know, within a decent amount of time of them seeing you in close quarters, you're going to win most of those fights fairly easily, whether using the SMG or the shotgun. Now, the problems I came across with the SMG is that this thing's magazine runs out quick. The gun you can see me using here in particular. The trench gun clip lasted a little bit longer, but the kill time is also slower as well. But this gun in particular, that magazine, 25 rounds, disappears almost instantly up close. I wouldn't try to engage more than 2 people at a time with it, maybe even more than 1, depending on the distance you're at. So I found myself actually switching to my pistol and having to take out multiple people with my pistol before I could go find a safe place to reload, and then continue moving around and re-engaging with this gun. And so be careful about that when you're using this. You can see here I'm trying to push on D with the assault class, and I just can't do anything. These people are just too far away. If anyone's a sniper and they see me, I'm going to die. I had to avoid bullets right there. So I actually end up killing this medic over here, and I just take his class, and I run into this building and just continue to push the other points with a different class, because the assault class, as I was saying, not effective for pushing bases. So if you ever feel like you need to switch classes, go for it. Whether it's a dead teammate you're switching off of, or whether it's somebody you kill. But if you need to move out into open areas of the map to help push the objectives, or go somewhere you want to go, or whatever, don't be afraid to go ahead and just change classes on the fly. So, as for moving around the map, the only time you can really do that without having to switch classes, like I was just saying, is during a sandstorm. Sandstorms are the assault class's best friend, because the assault class, like I said, is close range. So when there's a sandstorm, you can move basically anywhere you want. You can move to D, you can move to B, you can move to F, without running into too many problems or too many people fighting you outside of a range where you can actually fight back. And so during the sandstorms in this game is actually when I would move over to B and stuff like that. But the sandstorms, they kind of change the variability and whatnot, and I don't know what the deal's going to be with them when the full game comes out, so I wouldn't rely on sandstorms by any means, but take advantage of them certainly when they show up. So let's talk about the engaging tanks. A lot of people try to focus a little, they focus either too much on the tanks or they focus too little on the tanks, and that's kind of a weird problem that people seem to have. And the way to get around that, really, I'd have to say, is to simply, if you see a tank, you know, lob grenades at it, but don't start chasing them around the map and stuff. You're gonna get killed by somebody while you're following, and certainly don't run out into the open where you're just gonna get shot. Take caution when you're engaging the tanks, you know, for your surroundings and everything else. But certainly don't ignore the tanks. I found a lot of people just blatantly ignoring tanks on the map. A lot of people didn't play the assault class, so that may be the reason they just decided not to even bother. But I do feel like they should have had a light anti-tank grenade, or at least something to try to contribute to getting rid of the tanks, but it felt like most of the time people just kind of ran, and then ended up even dying while they were running away. So I certainly wouldn't ignore tanks by any means, especially with the assault class, but I certainly wouldn't make that, you know, the sole purpose of your existence is to just go after that one tank. And occasionally that can be a good idea if, you know, a tank is just becoming such an incredible nuisance and everyone else refuses to deal with it. Maybe you might end up having to do that and dying a few times in the process. But for the most part, you know, take advantage of whatever situation you're in. Don't try to force too much stuff going on. There's too many variables for you to calculate in the game for you to be able to do a lot of things effectively. You can see here there's a sandstorm, and I'm engaging this tank without too much trouble and actually get it down to like 20% health, and then everyone actually just gets out, and so they just turn into mincemeat from my shotgun. Pretty easy right there. And of course someone else actually assists and throws a grenade and finishes the tank off, so that was good. But yeah, sandstorms are your best friend. Like I said, I was standing right in the middle of the open right there. Didn't get shot, tank didn't even really notice me, and so easy stuff. I found this assault class really effective. I was getting between usually over 30, but typically somewhere around 50 to 55 kills per game with the assault class. And I was always at the top of the scoreboard anyway because, like I said, it's for clearing objectives. And so I was always on the objectives when I was playing with this class. I'd show up, I'd clear out as many enemies as I could, respawn on a teammate, whatever, maybe switch classes, maybe not, depends on the scenario, and just go on with my thing, and I'd get a lot of points for being at the objective and helping capture, defending it, and getting kills, getting defensive kills on the objective and stuff like that. And your points really seem to stack up pretty quickly playing this class. I found this class to actually be one of the most fun classes in the game because it's definitely the most action-oriented. You know, the snipers are the more patient ones, the medics are the ones that kind of push objectives, so they're probably the second most action-oriented. And then the support classes kind of hold objectives if you think people are coming up to them. So those, you kind of be kind of patient for those to hope that people show up, you know, whether or not your bipod's sitting in a window and that you have a good sight on them and whatnot. So I found this class to be the most action-packed, and often because of that, the most fun. Really good stuff with this class. I really enjoyed it. I think people didn't give it enough of a chance. I think too many people just kind of wrote it off as soon as they got killed. I hope maybe they add some more cover in between the objectives so that people can actually run this if they're good enough or if they really want to. They have some options because, you know, trying to run out to D and to F and G and stuff, this class just became borderline impossible to use, I would say, just because of the ranges. Just some points you just can't do anything at all. And I feel like that needs to be changed a little bit, not completely, because I think it's good that the classes are all kind of range and situationally based, because that gives them a really good role and makes them more viable throughout the matches depending on what's going on. And kind of creates a good variety in the game. So I like the class a lot. I did. I think the SMGs should get a little bit of a range buff. I don't think they can increase the magazine count because if they're trying to go for realism, I don't know what the actual magazine sizes were for those guns, but maybe decrease the rate of fire slightly and very slightly increase the damage, so the DPS is the same, but your magazine will last a little bit longer, so you don't just run out of ammo so quickly all the time. That may also help. I'm not sure really, but I enjoyed the class. I think it was really good. Let me know if this stuff helped you guys out to play the class at all when the full game comes out, or if you think this will be useful when the game comes out, either way. And I've got more footage here you guys can check out and maybe check out my style of playing when I use the class and how it was effective, but that's basically all I've got for now. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the footage. I'll catch you next time.
Askeri var.
We have lost objective Charlie. We have lost lost objective Charlie.
Bakın, bir sıhhiyeci. Bir sıhhiyeci görüyorum. Bak bakayım o tarafta. Bomba fırlatıyorum.